Chapter 9 Superstructures TM 55203 Maintenance of a Railway Car Section 3 Chapter 9 915 General. The framework of a refrigerator car is similar to that of the boxcar. Special facilities to provide and maintain temperatures at the desired level. The refrigerator cars are to transport perishable commodities or other items dependent on refrigeration and heat. To prevent the deterioration of these cars are installed in structures retain heating and cold as desired. These thick floor sides roofs are equipped for the bunkers and some of the mechanical heating refrigerator number use of Army standard gauge domestic type 50-ton boxcars and converted in the use of foreign services ice refrigerator cars. These cars are welded underframes is welded and shielded in superstructure steels and galvanized steel roofs, sliding doors, and ice and compartments stationary to type each end of the range half stage icing. These cars have a capacity of approximately 2,000 cubic feet available for loading. The exterior and interior for the cars is shown in Figure 2.1, 2.2, 2.3. Discussion herein is combined by features peculiar and any type of the refrigerator cars presents the major maintenance problems. Recently built 40-ton mechanically activated U.S. Army-owned refrigerator cars operated for the certain foreign narrow gauge of the U.S. forces. These cars are maintained by the hostile nation. These cars are maintained by the host national railroads under the supervision of U.S. Army personnel and discussed in TM 55205. These are mounted in conventional type of trucks equipped for the coil springs, world bearings, and journals. These cars are illustrated into Figure 2.2. Flooring. The refrigerator car floors usually are constructed of two layers of wood and sometimes installation material that they converted waterproofing. The principal problem of maintenance in refrigerator car flooring to keep up the structure waterproof of abrasion. Water free from abrasions, keep from the impact of sustaining load. Water permitted to seep through the floor, adversely affecting the installation. So nullifying the efficiency is caused by installation becomes soggy and matty, promoting displacement of the sagging. Water seepage can be arrested only by constant inspection and maintenance. The abraded condition of the flooring covering found must be properly replaced and repaired and replaced. Renewals must be treated in waterproofing compounds to prevent leaks. 917 Installation provided material required thermal conductivity. It should be built in blanket form with suitable backing should be applied to the car side ends. The continuous blankets extending the doorpost to the end of the car. Opposite doorpost end of the installation will be extended the floor and another length of the roof installation should be 3 inches within the thickness of end of the 3.5 inches thick of the floor roofs. And temperature of refrigerator cars are unstable and basic becomes difficult to maintain adequate low temperatures, and an inspection may be made to determine whether the structure has been damaged in inner or outer walls, roof, doors, floors, ends of good condition. And the installation must be examined in condition and position, dislocation, disability. Installation materials generally detected the temperature, outer shell of the refrigerator cars, such joints, sections, structure, lining, etc. will have to be removed and to gain as installation affected area. Installation has only been shifted and merely require relocation and reaffixation of the matter. It has become water soaked and matted. It must be replaced. The same procedures following the repair. Doors, padding around the doors, the canvas covering the padding becomes wrinkled or torn through. It should be smoothed and reattached. 918 The doors of refrigerator cars are generally provided by located centrally on the side of the car. These are thick, adequately insulated. These edges of the doors be leveled and will matching the bevel of the door frame that permits the free swing of the clearance and the tightness of the doors enclosed. Some of the difficulties encountered with the maintained refrigerator car doors, including the lack of airtightness and disability for the locking device. Airtightness of the car doors depending upon the closeness of the fit and the manner of the packaging around the door that has been applied. The packing loosely permitting to become the folded, wrinkled, and leaks was developing. Padding and capping hardened and lumpy, contributing air leakage. With such conditions that the found defective padding will be replaced in spring doors or doors frames of the warping causing leakage. Event of such members replaced and the doors were fitted. Locking devices. The hardware of refrigerator car doors include hinges, cranks, locking bars, and levers. The members generally are constructed by malleable iron and fixed bolts and fastened completely with the door anchor and not outside. The locking hinge device is inoperative due to the rust, wear, deformation, or breakage of loosened. If one of the devices cannot be repaired firmly fixed, it should be replaced by a new one. A portion of the car body to the door which is affixed to the repair is affordable to afford satisfactory support of the anchor point. The airtight closure is not possible if these devices are malfunctioning. And roof, a general, the first type of roof used in a refrigerator car are board, plastic inside and outside, and metal and all steel. And it is important for the car roofs to keep leak-proof to prevent decay and the corrosion of the car structure and damage and loading. Roofs in all parts of this roof boards and coverings, metal roof of the sheets, purlins, car lines, ridge poles. It should be inspected periodically. Any leaks of the damage repaired and neglect damage supporting members that result in developing stress at seams of joints, thereby causing leaks. Roof. B. The repairs outer and inner leaks within the leaks repaired of the leaky member replaced. In the case of the plastic covering, leaky portion should be recovered, and this be applied directly over the old roofing. This which where the car's inside sheet metal cars repair care may be taken on the nails unused in security outdoors and do not extend the interior puncture into the metal lining. The type of generally can be effective in removing the entire roof. However, it is necessary to remove some of the roof part of the running board. And if cars lines, purlins, rigid lines, blanks must be replaced. It is usually necessary to remove the entire portion of the roof. Sometimes construction car lines are so installed that the immovable, impossible disassemble of the roof. If one car must be placed, it must be removed to the piecemeal. A new installed two-section splice installation purlins, if defective, then replaced and removable of the roof of section. The section of the roof deteriorates. Roofs that are in corrosive action. The rusty areas should be cleaned with a steel brush. Remove all trace of oxidation. Then areas should be coated with a red lead and some other rust inhibitor paint. 920 waterproofing. The greatest sign of the maintenance of the refrigerator superstructure are the prevention of water seepage in intersection of the car's walls, ending floors, and seepage of the type will the time and corrode and the metallic members of the structure to decay. Wooden portions to correct the waterproofing are required for the various remedies, including the use of compounds, application of plastic sheets, impregnating all the lumber using creosote mixtures, and material highly resistant to moisture. When repairs of the car body, all joints should be immediately behind the icebreaker bunkers. Brine tanks is in critical area, required greater care because of the proximity. Condensated water brine solutions contain and in the tanks of or a zero emanating from them. In the case of box zone bunkers, their walls are formed by the end of the side of the car. Waterproof construction repair are essential. 921 overflow of the pipes. Overflows of the pumps pipes are a conjunction of the brine tanks are provided by the drain off excessive moisture as the ice metals brine solution rises in the tank until the level of overflow of the pipe is reached. At the points for excess solution is draining the tank retained to the discharge, and while no damage to the tracks, roadbed, and shoes, the overflow of the pipes will be clogged slide incrustations, and this must be removed during the routine maintenance of the pipes. The regularly clean and stoppage overall flow pipes will be overflow of the brine tanks, flooding of the car, and overflow of the piping valve will be periodically cleaned as to maintaining a good working order. 922 the bunkers. In some refrigerator cars, the retaining wall or box bulkhead is used from the one end of the ice bunkers. In these cases, the bulkheads are arranged in collapsible members in which may be swung upward in one side and fastened out of its ways, and done in commodities which do not require refrigeration or be transported to space normally occupied. The bunkers may be used in loading. The units may be maintained in good order. The fast device should be inspected that they will be in bulkhead inspection permitted for the ship may be damaged in a loading bulkhead as the wall fails. This permits the ice to mix and damage of the goods to be shipped. Anti-rust corrosion measures will be taken in all metal portions. B. Basket bunkers. Basket bunkers, when used and hung just below the roof in the center of the car, they all apply refrigerating temperatures. It is the highest. In some cases, brine tanks are similarly installed in these bunkers. Tankers must be removed periodically through thoroughly clean, and all any rust and corrosion should be removed, and coatings for sedative materials applied. In the leak development, the tank must be removed and the holes soldered. Section 4, gondolas. Section 4, gondola cars. Gondola is an open-top freight car with the side ends and the flat bottom of the level is most solid, provided that the bottom doors are used in the transportation of bulk freight. Classification include high side, low side, drop end, drop bottom, general service. The typical drop end of the type of gondola is illustrated. 924 overseat fleet, knockdown 40-ton overseat fleet. It includes both high-sided 48-inch, low-sided 18-inch gondolas. They are basic 40-ton flat cars with inside of the ends added and ends of the side is pressed in steel truss member of the substantial chord angle. The sheathing at 1/2 of the inch tongue grooved, and since the basic flat car is designed at 40 tons, the side is not primarily designed to serve the truss members. The low joint side must be provided in dump ends that drop outward because of the 18-inch side height of low side of them, which serve auxiliary in the fleet auxiliary for the flat car fleet. And TM 5522220201335 925 maintenance of repair. Generally, the gondola class receives the roughest uses of any of the freight cars. Results in subject corrosion, weakness in the car structure. Since the class represents a large portion of all freight cars and service, adequate maintenance and repair schedules established and adhered to. It should be remembered as gondola is 40-ton overseat fleet of the basically flat cars. Maintenance of the superstructure therefore is a matter of upkeep of the side ends and whether the striped sides or ends of the damage. Otherwise, there can be returned to the service of the flat car. Conversely, since the gondola ends of the use of the until package of the shipment in stores, flat cars may be converted in gondola depots, whether the stores are available in the railway salvage depots or a last resort of cannibalization. B. The major repairs. Repairs of major nature begin with dismantling, removing all material mechanisms that require straightening and repairing renewal. The car is removed, the necessary repairs made to the parts remaining intact. The truck's repair indicated that the frame is jacked, the truck's moved out and outline. In paragraph 4.4, new the repair floor sheets can be fitted in the trucks are outside end of the repairs may be made at the time. Also, the repairs may be included in replacement repaired section renewal parts, all riveting and welding required, superstructure installation, safety appliances, car trucks, couplers, air brake cylinders, and their applied air brakes tested. The car is readily painted and released for service. Minor repairs of the defective side floor sheets and may be stake out across bare sills and may make light repairs, organizational direction, support maintenance patch sheets and lap overs, edges and remaining portions of the old sheet. If the side is distorted and the steel side cars of the strained excessive loads of the turnbuckle of sufficient length of the huck of the sides of the cars will pull off them and back into shape. The side of the cars bended and can be jacked in proper position. Ordinary jack these sides opposite of the end of the car can be used in the anchor base of the jack and bracing properly with thick timbers to distribute the force over the wide area. The end of the gondola is caved in the jack and placing the heavy timbers against the cross tie, one of each side of the center of the sills and arranging jacks with a tight timber to push out of the cave portion. At the same time, the jack should be placed across the end of the car and push out of the corners and bulged out of the jack back into the place and jack back into another car coupled into the bulged cars. Cars with damaged ends of the have been pulled in corners and they should be shaped in proper position and jacking. At the same time, repairs in the made in the ends of the repair of the damaged ends at the ends of the 40-ton gondola may be involved. The replacement of the wooden tons requires the carpentry skill. The inside structure steels, the truss members, the high-sided gondolas, steel posts, and large low-sided gondolas are damaged. Extended the replacement is necessary. The type of the repair replace the performing repairs in the matter of judgment of the part of the responsible maintenance. Section 5, the hopper cars. 926, the hopper car, freight car, flooring sloping in the ends and sides of the one or more hoppers, which are charging, discharging, entire loaded gravity hopper doors. Self-cleaning feature. The hopper compartment doors may be opened and closed and is required a drawer operating gear consisting of a shaft and ratchet gear, pawl and chain linkage of all hopper doors, providing a locking device and secure the doors of closed position covered by the hopper, permanently enclosed and equipped for the tightening coverers of the doors. They are used in shipments and chemical products, sulfur, etc. in bulk. In 927, major repairs, dismantling for rebuilding major repairs. Hopper cars are disassembled outlying tracks of the following manner. The first position at end and cross-side braces, side gussets, and the coupler carrier bolts and removed. The car may be is then moved in second position inside the long hoods of dismantled. The side sheets are not cut from loose at the time. Couplers or draft riggings then are removed, and the parts are needing a repair into the proper shop. This next time is at the next position of the hopper sloop sheets, floor sheets, cross bridge drop doors, hinge pins, hinge butts removed, and the cross bridge sheets are scraped and necessary to the cross bridge, center cross bridge braces. The final dismantling position the remaining parts or portions of these parts include the hopper sheets, load, long hood supports, levels, guiders, floating lever guiders, center still stiffeners, hinges, bolts, supports, outer sill stiffeners, center sills, body center plates, center and back center sill fillers, center braces, drafting sills, draft and end sills, gussets and top faller guides, hand brake steps and brake mast steps, open coupling device, body bolsters, air brakes. All the rivets should be replaced on all material and to be repaired and used and replaced. Reassembly material and applied to the car to the position to the proper place along the assemble. The track bolster diaphragm should be assembled at some point of the recting track so that they can be applied to the car in single compact unit. Reassembly accomplished in several positions erecting track in the following sequence. After assembly of the body bolsters, diaphragms, the trestles opposite in the first position, the first center sill of the bolsters require the following units of the long hooded support of the body side: bearings to bolster, diaphragm fillers, and end sills, side sills, striking casting braces, draft attachments, top follower, guide center braces, center base fillers and sill stiffeners, center cross bridge braces, brake rods, anchor assembly, brake rod, anchor, and body and center plates, level connection guides, floating lever guide fillers, and hinge bolt supporters. To the lower car of the body of this equipment installed in trestles onto the several trucks roll into the next position. Riveted. Apply for the following parts of the riveted construction: inside the hopper sheet, angles in the side sheet, gaskets, cross bridge sheets, the cross bridge braces, hinges, butts, and doors. Move car forward. Move the car to the floor construction position. Apply to the flowing parts of the floor strut angles, long hood, outside hopper sheets angles, and lower floor angles. Move car into the position, riveting the members in the facility underneath the car. It should be raised in the service trucks blocked on draft and sills and lowered to the rest of them. Upon completion of the riveting, retrucking moved in the next application on the sides, applying the following parts of the corner caps of the side sheet ends of the tie reinforcement, center top plates, fillers, drafters, end sill, gussets, and diagonal struts. So the next position, riveting these parts, application safety appliances include inside of the braking support, braking mast for a set, still step, grab iron ladders, mover car final assembly, move the service trucks, and apply the repair trucks after the body is move to the car assembly, move the service of the trucks, apply to the repair trucks after the car body is lowered in the connection rigging and install the draft gear, couplers, carrier, and all the required nuts, gauge the car or the proper coupler height, and check on the side of the bearings and test the air brakes and car is then ready to paint. 928 minor repairs because of the similarities of hopper cars, gondolas, procedures in paragraph 925. The governing light repairs gondolas are applicable for the hoppers, drop doors, drop door operating mechanism quite similar to gondola hopper. The same repair procedures will apply to the same hopper near the bottom of the tendency into the rust prematurely from the rain, melted snow, etc. Sleeping in the sand, coal, and bulk cargoes usually loaded with it, often set and cannot be shot up to a temporary repair is required that can be accomplished in fixing repair sheets to inside car of the adequate size to cover the damaged area. Replacement should be bolted, welded in position. Deteriorated side sheets will barely withstand riveting. Repair should be repainted to retard further corrosions. Section 6. The dump cars. Any air dump is an all metal car constructed and contains discharge on either side of both sides of the track doors. Both sides of the car door is in mechanism inclined with the side of the doors tipping of the sideways and meeting of the compressed air secured in the train lines. Dump cars are removed in large quantities of evacuation construction workload of the rail lines used in ditching and trestle filling, coil handling, emergency work, occasion class and wash out, with the majority of dumping cars provided on the side turned out coincident and tilting body and easier anti-tiring the car turns in its form of chute over the loaded discharge. 9:30 operation. The dump car is mounted on a steel underframe pivoted longitude over the center sill, so the discharge on either side of when the dumping hinges the hip riveted into the center side of the car body. The rock and pedestal castings riveted to the center side of the vertical dump center cylinders on each side of the car perform the dumping riding of the car body. The body is supported in the manner that the members between under the frame are compression and the resultant shock loading and are carried directly to the truck's empire. Roadbed air dump cars provided by the air storage reservoirs located in the car charge and the train line of the locomotive. Dumping the air brakes usually accomplished through the turn of the handle of the control valve located in the platform of the car. The charges of exhaust of the operating airline lock of the operated separated air cylinder connected to the operating line and the cutout cock, closing the cutout cock, leading the latch cylinder cut. So the dumping operation particular car. The dump body is tilted. The dump cylinders are as shown in figure 9.4. One of the mounted is on each of the body. One of the cars is on some of the cylinders and is used in the tilt in the body either direction. Reversal of dumping between the accomplished swinging cylinders around the push in the body other way and the pushing the body the other way, and the locks of the type of the cars is reversed manually. Short pull rodded located transversely centrally under the frame, of the car. Other type of dumping accomplished in the operation dumping valve handled is to dump position direction valve conveniently conspicuously located indicate clearly to the operated direction of the car will be dumped. 9:13:11. 931. Maintenance and repair. Simply, the construction of average dump car minimizes maintenance and repair problems. The car is regularly constructed and stained and raw for usage in the case of other freight cars and with steel structures. Light and repairs and accomplished without heavy equipment. Straightened the bar and bent and deformed members of accomplished use of the jack, supporting timbers and discussed in other files and the procedure discussed in the hypercars, gondolas, maintenance and repair, and procedures associated with equipment, air dumpsters, and an air cylinder truck, underframes, couplers, and draft gears, air brake facilities, same as any other freight car. Section 7, tanker cars. 932, superstructure of the tanker cars generally is construction of steel, other metals riveted in fusion welded together in tankers, designed and lined and inside of the double welded joints provided relatively smooth interior surface. The tank's riveted construction composed of several overlapping sheets performed by a general contour and riveted together overlap seams. The tank varied design relation to commodity transported in the Army owned tanker car transportation petroleum products and constructed to provide one large compartment of figure 2-6 types divided in several compartments carrying different kinds of liquids at the same time. 933. The construction of the features general superstructure of tanker car structure to construction of material resisting erosion and corrosion resistant material. For the reasoning of tanking shells must be alloyed steel, nickel steel, aluminum insulation, and sometimes required to maintain an ever even temperature. Certain commodities viscosity liquids or application of facilities unloading the normal accomplished steel steam coils installed in the tank shells. Dome. Most tank cars equipped with domes and a cylinder chamber affixed to the top tank of the provided meeting the filling of the tank of the capacity. The domes serve as a reserve combination of the gases fumes of the developed in transportation of some liquids. The seas of dome of the governor inside of the glass of the tank, which is fixed as much like compartment. The tank's compartment is equipped in separate dome, and domes are provided by within the vents, the safety vents to exhaust the accumulated the gas vapors. The details domes outlet valve arrangement are shown in figure 8 and 9, shown in 9.5. Outlet valves. The valves of the figure 9.5 installed underside of the tank provided means of emptying the contents of the tank car that must be constructed in a manner that which will make capable passing for the landing of the car, which is in free-flowing liquid aviation gas and heavy viscosity materials, crude oil, molasses. The outline of valves must be blocking stopping must be materials with a resistant corrosive outlet extending downward bottom of the tank to the point below the underframe member provided by a ready access. These valves are closed mechanisms housed in the valve and activated by a rod and passed by a valve upward through the tank body as is affixed to the inside of the dome housing. D. The tanker cars in theater operation. Petroleum products, principal commodities moved in tanker cars oversee theater operation. Tanker cars AAR dot and CONA specification modified. Emergency authority is demand and standards oversee theaters outside United States type of center sill construction between the bolster incorporated in the car design. Side buffering, providing design of a hook and link coupler is used in showing in the figure 7.6. The shock absorbed diagonal bracing applied to the bolster sill connection. This is preferably conventional European use of side sill buffering resistant standard bottom outlet valves. Doom safety incorporated in tanker car specification available in the U.S. Army Mobility Equipment Command, St. Louis, Missouri. 934 replacement, maintenance, and repair. Leaving tank is one of the more common defects encountered in tanker cars. First most vital tanker maintenance cars. Principal caution: never approaching a leaving tank of the car open light. This applicable whether or not the inspector knows the lighting consistent of fact and practice. Opening tight of the match torch candle lantern and must never be used in the inspection of the tanker cars empty or loaded. Leaking tanks. The leaking tank should be having its transport as soon as possible. Leaking badly, temporary repairs must be accomplished. One of the methods is stuff waste and rags impregnate with a heavy lubricated opening to arrest the flow within rupture is not too great. A soapy clay must be adequately, strictly temporary expedition performed to provide temporary landing at another car. Impossible empty tanker car selected to receive transfer relating similar commodity, otherwise landing contaminated non-compatible substance may be mixed. Impossible loads from transfer to the gravity flow. The gravity transform cannot be made in siphon, and pressure may be used. The air pressure should be judicious used and only on the car loaded on with heavy oils. Very low level leaks and seams can cause temporary pasting of twine, lead, wood, pushed in places within sharp places of wood or bronze. After the twine caulking has been taped in place of soap should be painted over the ridge, and tools made in ferrous metals must not be in tanker cars. Repairs types and since initiating flame landing of the gases spaces in the ferrous metals are brought by the sharp contact parts dented in a tanker car must not be required the attention if leaking outlet valve leaks. Many leaks occur in the outlet valve underneath the tank. In general, are caused by the leaking valve inside of the tank. The type of the leak often is stopped in tightening the cap of the bottom of the tank and the nozzle. It does not remedy any trouble. The line gasket must be placed over the end of the tank nozzle and the cap screwed and tightened against it. Sometimes the leakage can be stopped by removing dome cover, moving in the valve up and down and several times. Bad leakage can develop in the tank and nozzle outlet valve. Basic as of the freezing cold weather is water is in the heavier oil formed condensation bottom of the tank and better the first run out. The water often runs in the cold water bursting in the tank nozzle, causing the leak into the thaws. The saw which causes the leaky valve should be replaced in the car emptied before the reloading. D. The tank heads. The members and ends of the tank shell are frequently bent. The result in being struck or loading in another car resulting from a blow projecting object and building. Such dents may be straightened, bumping in the inside of the heavy mulm tool made from an old axle. Facilitating operation light heat must be applied to dented areas of the tanker cars as bumping in being done. The tank head must be never heated in the bright red heat, and it is also cause never be heated to a bright red heat. This will cause member to buckle with straightened tank heads and never strike the head of it directly with the mar or the sheet or mar the sheet or member. It's preferable to use flat face swage and wooden wall against the surface. If the tank head is made badly staved, it must straighten means of jack placed between the timber and brace and against other end of the car. Frequently possible straighten dents in the tanker key heads and shall be removing the tank from the car from the most extensive damage requires removal. The tank should be set up on the skids in large horses. Repairs. E. Shall the plates repair and straighten the dented in general performed in the same manner. Repairs the tank head discussed. And D. When necessary to move the tank plate car must be taken and avoided, and when removing them out, the rivet should be driven and hit on the outside of the bucket inside, as well as design bucking bar instead of another hammer riveted must be tightened. A loose rivet is defective in holding a finger and rivet headed and tapping the right rivet lightly with a hammer. Loose and vibrated slightly loose rivets must be never caulked, and the leak must be replaced. If the safety valves and vents, the lading off runs to the top of the safety valves of the car must be loaded in asphalt similarly products and congealed with preventing valve and unseatingly prescribed pressure and inspecting indicates the valve for the faulty safety valve removed from the valve from the tank is assembly standard safety and removal from the valve plug is center valve and back of the venom valve stem until the spring follower or spring is detached. Remove the valve and the valve stem from the housing, inspecting the valve. The valve seats are pitted from the rough and contact may be ground and smooth in emery powder. All parts of the valve should be cleaned before reassembly. Spring tension will be adjusted, then reassembled with the valve the correct pressure opening. G. The dome covers. The dome covers must be require little maintenance and seldom fall in service. And dome covers are provided by 1.5-inch holes just underneath the flange of the cover. These holes are necessary to permit the release of the gases. Pressure is required to the safety valve and the covers with the holes that never be applied. Necessary to inspect the dome. Cover the chain is secured to the tank to cover and not slip off the fall. Tanker cars. After requiring the welding, riveting, caulking of the rivets, holding the hot and cold forming, to restore the tank of the contour tank cars in interchangeable service, the tanks must be retested, confirmed in paragraph 173.3.1 dot regulation 49 CFR part 130.73 before returning to service. Glass, lead, rubber lined tanks retested and lining renewed. Interior heater system be retested before returning the car to repair. After repairs, the renewal of any parts of the system. 935 the tank cleaning. A general necessary repair tank is thoroughly cleaned as though to be safe to enter the other term remaining after the loads have been discharged for highly flammable toxic. This procedure following the described different commodities by B. The tank car oils. The type of tank is bestly cleaned and steamed. Jet of steam of be blown in the tank. Steam vapor is condensed with the tank wall. Run down to the bottom tank, taking the oil while before steaming. Necessary to remove the oil outlet cap to the tank valve, thereby allowing the condensation of the oil run out. After 4 to 5 hours steaming, the carman should enter the tank and sweep any residue to the final step is thoroughly flushing the whole water tank car. Accidents, fat, heavy greases, tanks, and transported commodities must be cleaned and boiling out. The accomplished filling of this water, adding 4 to 500 pounds in causetic soda. The steam hosing should be inserted with the tank turned on. The tank should be boiled for 48 hours. After the solution is drained out, after the treatment, it must be thoroughly washed out of the cold water before it is safe for the workmen to enter. This causatic solution will cause painful burns if it comes into contact with skin. Rubber boots, gloves, and oilskin clothing should be worn when solution is handled. Section 8, flat cars, 936. The Department of the Army 40-ton flat cars are specially designed for the Foreign Service component with a knockdown fleet of the components except for the tanker cars. Simply for flat cars, respective type of substructures, high, low, side gondolas, boxcars added. These components are shipped back to easily assembled outline TM 552220-201-235. The movement of the ordnance engineering materials other than equipment weighing over the 40 tons standard Army of the 80-ton flat car have been designed to the fleet to meet the most of the theater operation conditions. No conversion of this flat car is anticipated. It is mounted on 6 wheels, 3 axles to avoid exceeding the low axle load limit of the bridge structure. Limit on the track and the bridge structures to foreign railways. The 80-ton flat car, like the 40-ton flat car, is shipped knocked down and packed so that it can be assembled in field with minimum effort. 937 depressed center flat cars. The depressed sign minimum design capacity to deliver depressed center flat cars and service railroad in the United States is 70 tons body mounted air brake. The cylinders foundation brake gears of the conventional type of flat car cannot be used in depressed center flat cars. Brake cylinders within the separate foundation of the gear. Each truck is foundation of the gear. For each truck required the cylinder and the truck mounted in the body mounted railway movement ordnance engineering material other equipment vertical dimension exceedingly sometimes the depressed flat cars will not equal regular 80-ton flat car. The useful depressed center is measured primarily by added headroom and it affords. 938 maintenance for repairway. General acceptance of flat car material attached adequately quality materials repairs perform the performance tremendously loaded transported on flat cars. Structural material of flat cars consists of member rolls shaped and extended or cast. These various members are combined and fabricated to form a complete structure. The general accomplished riveting and or welding is since the Kanos flat cars of the wooden decks and flooring and many foreign flat cars are partially wooden construction. Repairs of both types of them being discussed. Repairs to wooden flat cars. The repairs are frames discussed in Chapter 5, so the discussion is superstructure repairs and only superstructure of average flat cars, platforming, flooring. The wood flooring normally used in 1 3/4 of an inch lumber squared provided by a shiplap joint, and the flower boards are cut out of the side end of the stake pockets. To renew car floor out, old nails and spikes should be removed, and the car structure is repaired needed. Old flooring is relayed and new flooring is applied. It should be fastened 30 to 40 penny spikes, depending on the thickness of the lumber. Flooring usually mild in width of the face of 5 1/4 to 7 1/4, 9 1/4 inches. 2 spikes should be used in each end of the board, except fixated to the side of the 2 more each in the center still. One where the board is immediately nailing the strips. Applying 4 1/4 inch boards are used. Additional spikes necessary to widen the boards. The flooring should be projected against 1 inch on the outer edge of the side sill. Must be alignment of the board solid in a random mill of this length, otherwise marked in chalk line, straight away to the nail line into the place and slightly tipped and twisted. Must be blocked and straight before the flooring and be applied, and also necessary properly trusted and secured to required camber curvature of the sills before laying a new floor to survive, since it enables to withstand the concentrated loads. Repairs to steel flat cars. Steel flat cars are in 3 general types: ordinary flat cars with steel sills, wooden or steel floors; depressed center flat cars with well hole car. Cars are lateral types, are generally equipped for the riveted steel floors, while steel floors are usually riveted to the sills from the soft iron rivets. The rivets are large flat heads are inserted at the top and driven to the lower side of the car floor. The floor is generally made in the steel plate riveted directly to the side. The center immediately stills cars defective developing. Floors used in car lading carrying. In some cases the floor is warped and buckle, and the holes must be punched out through floor sheets over sheets, and a sheet may be replaced in patches of the entire sheet can be replaced if necessary. Floors have been buckled and removed, straightened and relayed and necessary to weld over the rivet holes, punctured, drill new ones because of the bulk. Members tend to stretch and straighten. Sheared rivets should be replaced where never found. Other repairs press centers and well hole centers and accomplished accordance with the methods of applicable ordinary steel flat car repair. Part 3: Heating and Lighting, Air Conditioning. Chapter 10: Train Lighting.